welcome everybody. I am Johnson PJ once again with the third part of the video to discuss mass space interconversion and mass energy equivalent. We know that until Einstein's arrival, it is believed that mass and energy were separate. But Einstein unified them, and ever since the world became sadder and wiser, as we claim. That means, sadder means many nuclear explosions happened and many perished, and wiser in a sense that we thought we understood a new secret. But unfortunately, according to this new space concept, mass is not converting into energy or vice versa, but mass and space are the different sides of the same thing, although space is non-perceptible to our mind or machines. That means space entry is the cause of gravitation, and when mass is disintegrated, it is disintegrating into space and mass energy equivalence. That means, although it is proved hundreds of times in particle accelerators and nuclear reactors, it is not a real philosophy. Let us see why this is so. Let us have some simple thought experiment. Look at this marker pen. This, according to Einstein's philosophy, m is equal to E by c square. This is condensed energy or frozen energy. Frozen here means not by cooling, but packed, energy packed. M is equal to E by c square. So, suppose I were a terrorist. If I were a terrorist and I am claiming that I am going to make this a bomb and going to destroy this village around me by disintegrating it into energy. Okay, that means this particular amount of mass, when disintegrated, it will produce only a particular amount of energy. Suppose this is 10 grams. I don't know exactly. If this were of 10 grams, and if this is disintegrated and it may be able to destroy about 1 square kilometer area, suppose, then that time this thought experiment will show the futility of mass relativity. Suppose I am keeping this bomb with me, I am going to explode it, converting it into its maximum disintegrating form, that means into energy according to Einstein's philosophy. That time my vehicle is coming very closer to the velocity of light. Okay. In that vehicle, suppose there are FBI agents or Mossad agent or CBI agents or whatsoever agents are there. They are measuring. Suppose they are measuring from their vehicle the mass of this will be felt as hundreds of kilograms also, although this is only 10 grams. Okay, when they are passing, they will wonder whether this terrorist, if he disintegrates and convert it into energy, it will destroy so many towns and the state even, the country even, because it is hundreds of kilograms. But that time also, if I convert this into energy, this will produce only a finite amount of energy according to E is equal to mc square. That means finite amount of mass can be converted into only a finite amount of energy, means that is the futility of mass relativity. That means mass is absolute. That means m is equal to E by c square is the best proof that mass is absolute. Then how can it be relative? That we will discuss in the next video. That means relativity of distance and hidden velocity in a tremendously moving universe. Now we are coming back to the space entry or space evacuation. As I stated earlier, when space is evacuated, gravitation occurs and there is a continuum. Let us go back to Newton's time. Newton, after formulating many fundamental equations regarding gravitation, when criticized by Huygens and Leibniz for not having a causal explanation for the cause, Newton admitted, he was honest, very honest a person, very great a man, and he said that the idea of gravity acting at distance is so great an absurdity that no man in philosophical matters a competent faculty in thinking shall ever fall into it. Why? Because he knew that Gravity cannot act from distance. There should be something in close contact because he thought deep so many years. Those who are following Newton with his equations, they think that everything is okay because it is working. But for philosophers, just working is not enough. They are deep thinkers. So Newton himself said why? Because there is no vacuum existing, and the attractive force between two bodies are not a straight line force. Although it seems straight line for us. That is because of the space-entry. One body seems to attract another body, and the resultant force will come like a straight line force. Here is a simple question. If these two bodies are exchanging particles, particle exchange will not argue for an attractive force, only repulsive force it can explain. Okay, let it be, leave it. So if they are attracting in a straight line, and if space is a perfect vacuum, why should their attractive force diminish in the order 1 by d square when the distance is increasing? If it is perfect vacuum, there is no need of decreasing the attractive force. That means space-entry is the cause of gravitation, and because of space-entry, every heavenly object needs space, and that is why they are seen separately. That means, think of molecules, they want little space, so they wanted to acquire little space only, so they can remain closer, and small planets, they are a little more away, and stars, when the bodies are becoming more massive, they want more space, so they will repel also to a certain extent. There is attractive force, but this gravitational force is having a repulsive side also. Based on that only we can make anti-gravity. That is the main clue for anti-gravity. That means they have a repulsive side also, and Einstein even proposed that one at the beginning, but he at last withdrew it, fearing criticism from other corners maybe. I don't know why he retracted from that, even though he proposed. So this gravitational force, which seems the weakest of all force, is the most powerful in a universal scale because it is controlling everything. Think of the nuclear, that means nuclear reactions happening in the sun and such stars. What is the ultimate cause of this nuclear reaction? That is the gravitational crushing. So here, what is argued is that gravitation is space-entry, and that is why they are seen, particles, everything is seen separately. And as Archibald Wheeler or one philosopher, scientist, he said like this: you write down all the equations on a paper, it won't fly. Look at these insects and all, they are flying very elegantly. So think of that. Einstein himself suggested the relation between biology and this physics. And think of this is a biological theory, but this theory going to explain many things, including the law of rotation. Okay, we will come to that in the next video. As I stated, I don't remember whether I stated or not, we will come to the relativistic effects based on hidden velocity and the relativity of distance. Thank you.